A store received 7 crates of oranges. What was the standard deviation of the numbers of oranges in the 7 crates? So we got 7 crates. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we want to find the standard deviation of the oranges in each of our crates. And so I have never really had a Gmat question where I have actually had to calculate a standard deviation, at least calculate it using any sort of formula or calculate it directly. And so I am thinking here, if they were asking for the standard deviation, so what is the one standard deviation that is easy to determine without really having to do any math? And that is when you have a standard deviation of 0, because that means all of the numbers in your set are the same. So I'm not saying I know that that's going to be the answer necessarily, but I am on high alert for that possibility, especially when I look at the statements and it doesn't seem like they give us that many numbers. There are way more words here than there are numbers. So with that in mind, statement 1 says, for the 7 crates of oranges, the median of the numbers of oranges was equal to the greatest of the numbers of oranges. Okay, so let's say our crates here are arranged in ascending order by the number of oranges in them. So that means our median will be this guy here. And let's say that guy has 10 oranges in it. So if we need our median to be equal to our greatest number, that means this guy here is also 10, which means these guys also got to be 10. Okay, so then what can I do with the rest of these guys? So the obvious example is make them all 10, and this will be a standard deviation of 0. Now, let's do the same thing. So can I come up with an example where the standard deviation is not a 0? And so if I just change these values here, so these values got to stay the same, right? Because they say the highest value has to equal the median, which means your second and third highest also has to be 10. But I can change these guys here. If I can make this 9 oranges, 8 oranges, 7 oranges, and your median is still this guy here. And I don't know what the standard deviation is, but I know it's not equal to 0. And so this is insufficient. Statement 2 says for the 7 crates of oranges, the range of the numbers was 0. So what does that mean? So that would mean that our highest number minus our smallest number is 0, which means our highest number must be equal to our smallest number. So that would be a case where we have 10 and 10 over here. And since we can't go any higher than that, all of our other numbers here also must be, and we can't change these because that would change the range, right? If I went down, so I can't go up because that would change our range. I can't go down either because that would also change our range. So we're left with no choice but that. And if I change the values, well, that's not going to change anything. If I say, oh, they all have 8 in them, in each of these cases, even though our values changed, our standard deviation is still 0 because on average, each of our terms is still 0 away from the mean. All of our values in this set are 0 away from 10, and all of our values in this set are 0 away from 8. So statement 2 is going to be sufficient because we know all of our terms are the same. Therefore, the standard deviation must be 0. B.